Councilmember Nelson.
Mr. Weimer, on this proposal, option 11, you have the need-based is still, I think that is an important issue that we have to look at as far as administering needs-based. And I'm just suggesting maybe as a friendly amendment that we take that out at this time, to have that evaluated. And if you have to, then we look at other multi-ticket. You're already giving discounts on multi-ticket and so forth.
No, I'm not going to do that at this time. After the hearing, I think that is something we need to address. We've heard from both Public Works and from the treasurer that it's a problem, but I'd like to hear from the people on the island at the hearing before we remove that.
Well, then how would they comment on it if it's still in there?
Well, I think there's some of them sitting here, and we'll pass the message around that we're seriously thinking about getting rid of it.
I don't know if we are.
Councilmember Brenner?
Well, what you could do is list some of the questions that go along with this for the hearing too, like how can we do needs-based that works for the county and doesn't allow abuse to the system, and the issue of the docks. Those are two questions. Can we do it that way? I'd support number 11, even though I don't understand it, as long as it has those two issues, because to me, those are two very big issues.
So you're friendly, so that's a friendly amendment that somehow when this comes forward, those two issues are highlighted, that we're considering eliminating needs-based and another discussion of dock costs.
Eliminating or changing needs-based and eliminating the docks cost.
As you consider that friendly amendment, I think it's important to remember that the reason why everyone gets a lower rate is partially, no, maybe not completely, but in option 6, it's partially because the needs-based, is only, what was it, 10%. So, in this scenario, needs-based still in the option 11, it still is a significant discount, more than I think about 70% or something, whatever it traditionally was.
Well, I will accept that friendly amendment from Ms. Brenner. I'm not quite sure how that language will be reflected in whatever comes forward, but that's fine. And I think folks on the island need to realize that as long as the needs base is in there, everybody else is going to pay a little higher amount to make up the difference. So. But if people on the island are willing, if everybody else is willing to pay a little higher amount to help cover the needs base and keep the diversity on the island, I have no problem with that.
So could you now that you've accepted some amendment that's a little fuzzy to me, could you restate your motion?
The motion is to move forward on option 11 as presented 2 weeks ago, but to include in the agenda bill that we are seriously considering elimination of or changing of the needs-based fares, and we're going to have another discussion about where the dock costs get allocated.
But the direction to Public Works is to simply bring forward option 11.
Right.
Okay, that's the motion. Any further discussion or questions on the motion?
I have a question.
Councilmember Mann?
If we have our hearing, or in between now and then, if we decide I want to change the pedestrian fare to $6 or lower the truck fare to $1.50, do we have to have a separate hearing again?
I don't think so. I think as a result of a hearing, we can make, and Karen, I see you sitting way back there. Frank, do you know? I think
we would.
I think as do we have to even have a hearing on an ordinance regarding fares?
Have to? God, I think we absolutely
I'm
have
not,
to.
and I don't mean that in the context of eliminating public input. I'm simply saying if we had a proposal in front of us and tweak some fares, does that require another hearing if we tweak them based on the hearing?
I think our practice has been that we do have another hearing, whether or not, I guess it depends on how much you tweak them.
See, I thought that would apply to land use issues, but I didn't know a ferry rate structure.
Yeah, I think it's a due process thing, and it isn't just in the context of land use cases.
All right. So the answer, I guess, is no. If we have the hearing and we decide to change some of those things, we cannot pass it. At that point, we need to have another hearing, I guess.
Wait 2 more weeks.
Thank you for answering the question.
Okay, option 11 is what's on the table, and it's for Public Works. Basically, it's for Public Works to bring that forward as an ordinance, but it's also a notification, as I understand, to the community that we're still flexible and could be looking at those 2 items, the components of what is considered on the docks, maintenance and repair, and then secondly, whether or not we would keep discounts or what level they would be for needs-based. Councilmember Brenner.
Well, on that needs-based, you said 2 parts of it. The third part is the definition and how we maintain people who actually need it or using it and that it's not abused.
Any further questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, that motion passes 4-2 with Kirschner and Nelson opposed. Anything else on ferry stuff?